Virgo, the walls around you are already letting go of you. The life you've built inside them is starting to outgrow the space, and the air itself feels restless because it knows this is not your forever home. Something far better is already taking shape, and it's pulling you toward it piece by piece. Don't ignore the shift in your chest, the subtle way your mornings feel different, the quiet urge to look beyond your current address. If a street, a city, or a doorway flashes through your mind as you hear this, write its first letter in the comments. Now the universe may have just whispered where you're going next. You've been trying to convince yourself it's fine, that the walls you see every morning are enough, that the rooms you move through each day still hold you the way they once did. But lately, the illusion is getting harder to maintain. There's a shift happening not in the furniture, not in the square footage, but in you, and because of that, your home has begun to feel smaller. It's subtle at first. You wake up in the morning and glance around, noticing the way the light falls across the floor. It's the same sunlight as yesterday, but somehow it feels different, almost muted. You take a breath, and there's a quiet sense that the space is pressing in, ever so slightly, like a tailored jacket that no longer fits your shoulders. When you sit down to work, whether it's at a desk you built yourself or at the dining table, you feel it again, that gentle but insistent thought, this isn't it anymore. It's not about aesthetics. It's not even about comfort. It's about energy. And lately, that energy feels restless, like it's urging you toward the door without saying a word. The little things you used to overlook now seem amplified. The noise from the street feels louder. The silence in the evenings feels heavier. You've rearranged the shelves, bought new candles, shifted the couch. But no matter what you do, it's like trying to pour fresh water into a cup that was never meant to hold it. And then there's that tug you can't quite name, a pull towards something else, even though you don't yet know what that is. Maybe you've found yourself scrolling real estate listings without a real reason. Maybe a friend mentioned a neighborhood you've never considered, and the name stuck in your mind like a bookmark. Maybe you've been taking longer routes home, almost as if your body is searching for another path. This restlessness isn't a flaw in you. It's not ingratitude. It's not about being high maintenance or hard to please. It's a natural part of the upgrade process. You've outgrown the container you've been living in, the business you've built, the relationships you've cultivated, the woman you've become. They've all expanded. And now, your environment has to rise to meet them. The universe knows this. That's why it begins the process in whispers, not earthquakes. It makes the place you are just a little less comfortable, a little less aligned, until staying feels more unnatural than leaving. That's when the real signs begin to appear. They're not random. They're coded messages, breadcrumbs leading you toward the door you're meant to walk through next. And for someone like you, who notices patterns before anyone else, they'll be impossible to ignore. The first sign is in your dreams. Not just any dreams, but the ones that come back more than once. You might see yourself walking down a hallway you've never been in before, running your fingers along a window ledge that feels strangely familiar, or standing in a kitchen flooded with morning light that doesn't exist in your current home. You wake up with the image imprinted so vividly that it feels like a memory instead of a dream. These visions are your subconscious rehearsing the moment you'll step into the real thing. The second sign shows up in the kind of coincidences that aren't coincidences at all. You keep hearing about the same street, the same city, or even the same style of home. Maybe you're listening to a podcast and the host casually mentions a neighborhood you've been curious about. Maybe you scroll past an Instagram photo and, without realizing why, you stop and stare at the architecture. Even in casual conversation, people around you bring up places they've visited or are planning to move to. And somehow, Those places feel like they're being highlighted just for you. The third sign is the shift in your conversations. People in your circle start talking about change, moving, remodeling, relocating, even if they have nothing to do with your plans. A client casually mentions that she found her dream home. A friend invites you to an open house just for fun. A mentor tells you about the energy boost they felt after changing their workspace. It's like the universe is surrounding you with living proof that transitions are not only possible, they're beneficial. And the thing is, once you start recognizing these signs, they multiply. The dream that shows you a door you've never seen before becomes the Instagram post of a home with that exact shade of blue. The neighborhood name you've overheard twice suddenly pops up on a property listing in your inbox. The friend who mentioned an open house ends up introducing you to someone who lives there. It's not magic, it's alignment. It's your inner compass syncing with the outer world, creating a magnetic pull between you and the place that's waiting. You might feel a flicker of excitement when these signs show up, followed by a wave of uncertainty. That's normal, after all. Moving, whether it's across the city or across the country, feels like a big leap. But here's what I've learned: the signs never show up just to tease you. They're invitations. They're confirmation that your next chapter is already under construction. The question isn't whether you'll find your new home, it's whether you'll be ready to recognize it when it calls. And right now, it is calling, maybe softly, maybe in ways only you can hear, but calling nonetheless. Think about it: you've built your business, your craft, your independence brick by brick. You've fine-tuned your environment to support your ambitions, yet the ceiling here feels lower than it used to. That's not because the room got smaller, it's because you've grown taller. The home you're in now has been a valuable training ground. It's where you've celebrated wins, learned hard lessons, and crafted visions for your future. But its role is complete. You can feel it. It's not about abandoning something. It's about graduating from it. Every moment of unease you felt lately has been a nudge. Every unexplained pull toward a new neighborhood. Every dream you can't shake. Every coincidental mention of a place. These are your coordinates. They're guiding you toward a space that will feel like sliding the last puzzle piece into place. And when you walk into that new space, whether it's next month or next year, you'll understand why the restlessness had to come first. You'll see how every dream, every sign, every whisper was preparing you for the moment when you'd cross the threshold and think, finally, this is where I was always meant to be. You've probably noticed that the way this shift shows up isn't the same for everyone. The destination may be similar, a home that feels like it was designed for your soul, but the route you take to get there will depend on where you are in your life. And yes, even when you were born. For Virgos born between August 23rd and September 1st, the door to your new home will open through your work. It might be a promotion that requires relocation, a contract that takes you to a different city, or a client project that plants you in a new environment for months at a time. At first, it may feel purely logistical, a career move, a strategic decision. But beneath the spreadsheets and signed agreements, there's something bigger happening. The professional opportunity will simply be the vehicle. The true gift will be the home that's waiting at the other end of that decision. You'll step off the plane or walk into a building for the first time, and there it will be, not just a living space, but a place that understands you in ways your current one never could. For Virgos born between September 2nd and September 12th, the shift will come wrapped in the energy of connection. Someone significant will enter your life, a partner, a collaborator, even a close friend, and with them, the possibility of a new shared space. This isn't about moving in for convenience or splitting rent. It's about synergy. You'll notice how, when you're around this person, certain environments feel more alive. You might tour a property together just for fun and both feel that electric click at the same time. Your heart will recognize the space before your mind catches up. It will feel like the walls themselves are holding the conversations you've been dreaming of having. For Virgos born between September 13th and September 22nd, the journey is more internal. The move will be sparked by a decision to invest in yourself on a scale you've never dared before. It could be buying a property, starting a renovation, or even securing a long-term lease in a place that feels like an upgrade in every way. The leap will feel bold, maybe even a little reckless on paper, but it will be one of the clearest decisions you've ever made. You'll look back and realize that saying yes to that space was really saying yes to the person you've been becoming all along. No matter which group you fall into, the moment you find the right place will be unmistakable. It's not like dating, where uncertainty can linger for months. With the right home, there's no second guessing. You walk in and your body says, "We're done searching." The air feels different. Your shoulders drop without you telling them to. Every part of you relaxes, not because you've talked yourself into it, but because you've finally stepped into alignment. And here's what's fascinating when you arrive in that place. You'll notice that it doesn't just fit your lifestyle, it reflects it. The room you thought would be just an office ends up being where your most creative ideas pour out effortlessly. The kitchen layout matches the way you actually cook, not the way you wish you cooked. The light in the bedroom hits your morning routine like it was designed for you. Even the street it's on feels like it flows with your natural rhythms. But to understand why this matters so much, we have to talk about the difference between a house and a soul home. A house is a structure, 4 walls, a roof, a set of utilities, a mailing address. It can be beautiful, functional, even impressive to others, but still feel wrong when you're alone in it. A house is like a pair of shoes that fit just well enough to walk in, but never quite allow you to run, or dance, or forget you're wearing them. A soul home is an entirely different experience. A soul home is a container that amplifies who you are instead of limiting it. It's the physical translation of your energy, your values, your way of moving through the world. In a soul home, you don't just exist, you expand. When you're in a house, you spend energy adapting to it. You compromise. You work around its quirks. You explain to guests why it's fine. Really, when deep down you know it's not. You might even decorate and redecorate in an endless loop, hoping to create a feeling that stubbornly refuses to appear. When you're in a soul home, the environment adapts to you. You're not forcing anything. The flow of the space makes sense without mental effort. Your creativity surges without you setting an intention. Even your downtime is richer because you're not subtly bracing against anything. You feel safe enough to let your mind wander and your guard drop. You make better decisions because your nervous system isn't in a constant state of low-grade tension. For entrepreneurs, freelancers, and creators, this is everything. Your home isn't just where you live. It's the base camp for your vision. It's the set where every chapter of your story gets written. When the energy is wrong, your focus fractures. When the energy is right, your output doubles without you even trying. And let's not underestimate the emotional impact. A soul home feels like approval without conditions. It's the yes you've been waiting for, not from a person, but from the world itself. The colors, the textures, the smells, the way the light pours in, it's all a quiet but constant affirmation. You belong here. Some people spend their whole lives in houses, never knowing the difference. But you, because you're sensitive to alignment, can't unknow it once you've felt the gap. That's why the restlessness you feel now is so potent. It's your soul telling you that the upgrade isn't just possible, it's overdue. And when you find it, everything shifts. You stop negotiating with your environment. You stop explaining your choices to people who don't get it. You start living in a way that matches the version of you you've been working toward. The long mornings with coffee and a notebook. The quiet nights where inspiration strikes like a match. The afternoons where work feels like play because you're in the perfect flow. That's the difference between having a place to live and being home. One is survival, the other is expansion. And the truth is, once you experience expansion, survival mode feels intolerable. That's why, even though the leap to a new home might feel intimidating now, you'll never regret it once you're there. It's not just a real estate decision, it's a life recalibration. Because your soul home isn't about the square footage, or the zip code, or the price tag. It's about resonance. It's about walking through the door and feeling like the space is breathing with you, not against you. It's about finally being able to stop searching and start truly living. There's a certain kind of clarity that only comes when you're standing in the right place. You can't fake it, and you can't force it. The right space doesn't need you to make it work. It simply works. That's because every environment carries a frequency. Just like people, spaces have their own energy signature. And when your personal frequency matches the space you're in, everything starts to feel effortless. This is why some houses feel welcoming the moment you step inside, while others leave you uneasy for reasons you can't explain. Over the years, I've noticed that when a Virgo finds their true space, the signs are unmistakable. It's not about logic, it's about resonance. Here's what to look for when you're in the presence of the right home, your home. First, there's the shift in your body. You'll feel it in your chest and in your stomach. It's like taking a deep, unhurried breath after years of shallow breathing. Your shoulders drop. The tension you didn't realize you were carrying suddenly lets go. That's your nervous system telling you it recognizes safety. Second, pay attention to the light. Not just how bright it is, but how it feels. In the right space, the light invites you to move closer, to linger in it. Morning sunlight might stream across the floor in a way that makes you want to curl up with a coffee and a notebook. Evening light might soften the edges of your day. You'll find yourself pausing to admire it, as if the room itself is offering you a gift. Third, notice the sounds. Even if the space isn't perfectly silent, there's a harmony to the noise. The hum of the fridge, the faint rustle of trees outside, the distant sound of life happening beyond your walls. It all blends into a soundtrack that feels like home. You don't have to tune it out. It naturally becomes part of your rhythm. Fourth, there's an immediate surge of creativity. You walk in and suddenly ideas start flowing, new concepts for your business, ways to reorganize your schedule, projects you'd put aside for years. It's not coincidence. The right environment frees up mental bandwidth because you're no longer spending energy adapting to discomfort. And finally, there's the intuitive knowing of where everything belongs. You step inside and you can already see it, the reading chair by the window, the plants thriving in a corner, your favorite mugs lined up in the kitchen. You don't have to measure or plan. The arrangement is already clear in your mind, as if you've been here before. This is why I often say your soul home is not something you choose. It's something you recognize. And when you find it, you'll feel that click the same way a puzzle piece slides into place after sitting in the wrong box for years. I once knew a Virgo who had been searching for months, exhausted by open houses and endless listings. One day, she walked into a property she hadn't even planned to visit. Within minutes, she texted me, "I'm standing in my living room." She hadn't signed anything yet, hadn't even checked the price, but she knew. 2 weeks later, the keys were in her hand. That's the power of alignment. It accelerates everything. But before that moment arrives, there's something equally important: preparing yourself for it. The universe loves to move quickly when you're ready. But readiness isn't just about having your finances in order. It's about making space physically, mentally, and energetically for what's coming. That's where the preparation phase comes in. Think of it as clearing the runway for the arrival of something extraordinary. Start with your physical space. Go through your belongings and be honest with yourself. Which items truly support who you're becoming, and which ones belong to an older version of you. Release what no longer serves you, not out of frustration, but out of respect. Every item you let go of is an invitation for something more aligned to enter. Next, address your mental space. If you've been clinging to the idea that you have to make this place work, let that go. That belief can keep you anchored to a space long after it stopped being right for you. Instead, replace it with the mindset that your environment is allowed to evolve alongside you. Your success, your creativity, your happiness, they all deserve a backdrop that supports them. Then, clear your energetic space. This might mean recentering yourself through meditation, journaling, or simply spending time in environments that inspire you. Visit neighborhoods you're curious about. Walk streets you've never walked before. Pay attention to where your energy expands and where it contracts. This is your inner navigation system calibrating itself for the move ahead. And here's a subtle but powerful practice. Write your soul home blueprint, not in terms of square footage or the number of bedrooms, but in feelings and experiences. Describe how you want to feel when you wake up there, what you see when you walk into the kitchen, how the light hits your workspace, the sounds you hear at night. The more vividly you can articulate the experience, the easier it becomes for your intuition to recognize it when it appears. There's also the emotional readiness piece. Change, even when it's positive, can stir up resistance. You might feel moments of doubt. Am I making the right choice? What if it's not as perfect as I imagine? This is normal. But remember, your soul doesn't plant desires in you as a form of punishment. If you're feeling the pull, it's because something better is truly possible for you. Finally, expect the universe to start rearranging things for you. Sometimes this means an unexpected opportunity, a job shift, a conversation, a casual invitation that sets the move in motion. Other times it might look like something being taken away, a lease ending, a landlord deciding to sell, a change in your neighborhood. Don't fight it. These disruptions are often the exact catalysts you need to step into your new space. When the moment comes, you'll be ready. You'll walk into that home and feel the shift in your chest. The light will pull you in. The sounds will settle into your bones. The ideas will start flowing, and without a shred of doubt, you'll know this is mine. The beauty of preparation is that it transforms moving from a logistical headache into a deeply aligned transition. It stops being about leaving and becomes entirely about arriving. And when you do arrive, it won't feel like stepping into something foreign. It will feel like stepping into yourself. There's a quiet promise woven into all of this. A promise that when the right time comes, you won't have to force or chase anything. The move to your true home will feel less like a decision and more like an arrival. You'll see it in the way the details align without strain. The timing works out effortlessly. The resources show up when you need them. The people who can help appear at the exact moment they're meant to. It's as if the universe has been rehearsing this scene for months. And now all you have to do is step into it. And when you do, the shift will be more than physical. The right home doesn't just change your address, it changes your state of being. You'll notice it in the mornings, when you wake up and the first thing you feel is ease instead of tension. You'll feel it in your work, when ideas come faster because the space supports your flow. You'll even see it in your reflection, in the way your shoulders rest a little lower, in the way your face carries a softness that wasn't there before. This new home will validate every dream you've quietly protected. It will prove that your standards were never too high, they were simply exact. The way the light moves through the rooms, the way the air feels different when you open the windows, the way you can finally breathe all the way down to your bones. It's everything you've been building toward, translated into brick, wood, and air. You'll rediscover parts of yourself you didn't even realize had gone quiet. The hobbies you abandoned because you didn't have the right space. The parts of your personality that needed more room to breathe, the vision board that's been half waiting for the right backdrop. They'll all come back to life in ways that feel effortless, as if the house itself is a collaborator in your growth. And perhaps most importantly, this home will teach you something invaluable to trust your own knowing, because you'll remember that moment when you first walked in before the paperwork, before the logistics, and you just knew. That same knowing will become your compass in other areas of your life. You'll stop second-guessing yourself so much. You'll start saying yes faster when it feels right, and no faster when it doesn't. So, Virgo, if you're feeling the restlessness right now, don't push it down. Don't tell yourself you're imagining it. See it for what it is, a signal that something better is already on its way. Your true home is not a fantasy. It's a fact that hasn't yet crossed your current timeline, but it's moving toward you. When it arrives, you'll understand why you had to wait, why other places didn't work out, why the timing had to be what it was. Because the perfect place is worth the patience. It's worth holding out for something that feels like a full-body yes. If you're ready to open the door when it comes, tell the universe and yourself by claiming it now. Drop a simple "I'm ready" in the comments. Let that be your signal, your declaration, your first step toward the threshold of the place where you'll finally feel, without question, "I'm home."